Hey, welcome back to Self-Reliance. Today I've got another 5 unusual preps video for you guys. This is 5 items that I think are really useful to preppers and emergency preparedness specifically. I've tried to pick some things that most aren't talked about in most of the other YouTube videos, but that I have set aside myself that I think are useful, and I think you guys will too. Let's start off with the first item, which is hardware cloth. This is just a small little cut of hardware cloth. This, for anybody who doesn't know what hardware cloth is, this is kind of a wire mesh. This is all made out of wire here. And I think this stuff is amazingly useful. You can get it in all sorts of different sizes uh, for the size of the wire and the size of the hole between them. So you can get some stuff that's like, kind of not quite chicken wire size, but bigger holes and smaller holes. I've used these all over the place for things like, one of my favorite is to build a wooden frame and then put some hardware cloth underneath that, staple it to it, and then using it, and you can shake and sort rocks and remove rocks out of dirt, sort of something like that for your garden. So if you got wood chips or dirt or something that's kind of in the way in your garden, you can use this stuff, just different sizes of it, and separate out, if you wanted to separate out gravel or something like that, you could do that. If you just want to separate out dirt, which is what I've used it for, you can do that. This is also good for like rodent proofing or something like that, or birds or anything like that. This has a million uses. I mean, you can seal up, let's say a window breaks or something, and you want to keep animals out or something, you can just tack this over the window and it's going to keep animals and larger bugs and stuff like that out. I mean, you can get really minute stuff here, and you can filter out like a screen door or something, and get, stop mosquitoes or anything you need. All sorts of different sizes, really useful. All right, next one is fish hooks. This is a box of 500 fish hooks. This has got varying different sizes. I got this on Amazon for I think $4.50 free shipping, so $4.50 for this whole thing. And you can get 500 fish hooks out of this. There's quite a lot of sizes here. Some of these are a little bit too small. I mean, you can see how small that is right here on my hand. That's a pretty small fish hook. Some of these are a bit too small for some people, but it really depends on what kind of fish you're going for. For me, I go fishing in mountain streams and stuff like that, and so I'll get fish that are kind of, not that big, and so one of these small hooks works really well for them, actually, all the way up to this larger size here. I'll include a link down below to this for you guys if you want to grab some of this on Amazon. Got this larger hook here. This is bigger than really anything I'd probably fish for unless I'm in a big lake or something like that, but we don't have too many really good fishing spots in Utah. I mean, we got Lake Powell down south, and that's a really fun place to be, but I'm not a huge fisherman, but I think this is really useful because it's so hard to recreate a fish hook. I've seen some videos of people making fish hooks out of like nails, and they do work, but I don't think you're going to get quite, I mean, one, you're making 500 of these things, just using some rudimentary blacksmithing skills would be hours and hours and hours of work. And right now you can get this for, less than an hour of minimum wage or something like that. 500 fish hooks. Awesome. Love these. All right. Next one is something I think a lot of people overlook is a fuel filter. This is a funnel fuel filter. This guy's got a little kind of a really fine mesh in here, and it allows you to pour fuel in, and it's going to catch like dirt and leaves or anything like that, sand, something like that. And it even claims to get water and stuff like that, which I believe pools down at the bottom. There's a little bit of a recessed area at the bottom here, and water will accumulate down in that, and you just dump the water out when you're done. But this is really important if you're using questionable fuel. So say you get some fuel from a car, so an abandoned vehicle or something like that, and it might have been sitting there for 6 months or a year, you're not sure how long. You want to make sure you protect your vehicle or your generator, whatever you're putting it into, you want to protect it from all the gunk that's going to be in there. So this thing is awesome for that. I'll include a link to this down below for you guys as well. I use this every time I'm filling up my vehicles, even just from a 5-gallon red gas jug. I'll use this just to make sure I don't get anything inside my engine or anything like that. You don't want to get any, there's little bits that always end up in there, and this guy really filters that out. Awesome, awesome product. One thing that's important to remember is gasoline will accumulate water over time. When you have your gas canister open, it'll kind of breathe as the temperature changes throughout the day, and it's going to bring in new air, and that water in the air is attracted to the gas, and so that water is going to slowly build up in old gasoline, and this product really helps with that. So if you've got long-term storage of fuel, you'll need a way to make sure you don't get that water into your engine that you're trying to protect. Another really important feature of this. All right, next one is something I kind of made, but it's really simple. I think anybody can make it. Is a set of these 2x4s stuck together here. So my wife and I took a CERT class. I think it's Citizens Emergency Response Training or Citizens Emergency Response Team. It's like a FEMA training thing. It was pretty decent. I thought it was a really good broad overview. It took like 8 weeks to run through, but we used these in the class to lift up a huge dumpster, which was actually really cool. So what you do is you make like 10 or 20 pairs of these, and then you set them kind of next to each other, and the string is nice. I threw this on here myself. They didn't have those, but I figured it would be really nice because that way you can just grab this and yank it, and you can grab a whole bundle of them just with like this. It's just a little handle for all of these, and I just used some rounded staples on this and stapled one through the middle here as well. Kept it nice and tight. But this stuff is awesome because you put them down like this and then have some ones going perpendicular, and then you keep stacking them up, kind of like Jenga. You stack them up tall, and you can use a big pry bar just like a stick or a crowbar, or a real pry bar. I've got some really huge pry bars that works really well with this. And you can pick up huge loads. You can pick up a car or something like that. And it requires no electricity. You just need a couple of these to stack up, and you create 2 pillars of these and stack them up. Can move huge loads using no electricity, just manual labor. Really cool. These are about, I don't know, about 1.5 feet long. I just cut up a 2x4 just with a handsaw. Nothing special, just cut some nylon rope. The rope's not important. No weight is on this. This is just to pick it up and make it convenient to move around. That's it. All right, last but not least, I've done a video on this before. I'll link to that down below and probably in the video here for you guys as well. I've used this Mylar bubble wrap quite a lot in some of my videos. I did some mock bug outs, and I brought my parents' dog with me, and I used a small 2x2 square for her to sleep on. This stuff is awesome. So this is basically, you can kind of see the bubble wrap circle pattern on here. You can see how it's got a little bit of thickness to it, not a whole lot. But you can use this I've used it to insulate like gasoline or something like that. If you've got your gas storage or a little shed or something, and your gas is kind of evaporating because it's so hot, you can wrap this around it, insulate it. You could use this to insulate food. You can use this as a sleeping pad and lay on it. You can insulate a room with this. So say you've got like some emergency going on and you don't have much heat and you don't want to waste it, you can tape this to a window and block out light and heat from getting in and out. Not only would that be good for security, but it would be good for not wasting energy, precious fuel that you've got to maintain the heat of your house. This stuff is awesome for that. I've got I've had a couple rolls of this, and I've cut it into about 6 foot, 6.5 foot strips so that I can sleep on it. I'm a little over 6 foot tall, so I need a little bit of extra length to sleep on, but this stuff is awesome. It's a good sleeping pad, but it's not going to give you much padding, but it will insulate you, and it's also water resistant, right? Because this is just kind of Mylar. This is an aluminum foil of a sort on here, and that provides you with heat retention. I mean, I can just put my hand on here, and I can just slowly feel the heat from my hand reflecting back. Awesome stuff. I use it all the time, actually. Maybe a bit too much, but I really love this stuff. It's just so useful and reusable. You can just pull it off and move it someplace else. It's not going to get all gross or something if just water kind of goes on it. I think years of sunlight might break it down a bit. It's going to get through there and kind of break up the plastic that's inside of it. But this stuff lasts a long time. Awesome product. All right, guys, that's it. That was the last item for these 5 unusual preps. I hope you guys like these. I think they're pretty useful, and you might want to set a couple of them back. I don't think everybody needs every single one of these products, but I want to put out a video that's kind of unusual, hopefully give you guys some ideas, get you thinking, and come up with something that you're either going to forget and that you really need, and set it back before you need it later. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll include links to what products that I can. Obviously, I'm not going to link to 2x4s on Amazon. I bet you they sell them for a premium. But I'm going to throw this last little bit on here for my subscribers. I've got some people who've been some long-term subscribers, and they're going to care about just my family life that's going on right now. My wife had a baby about 3 months ago. His name's Micah. He's doing really well. He's been a handful. My wife and I He's a full-time job. When I get home from work, I have to help with him all the time, and he doesn't sleep very good. I know a lot of people are pretty experienced with babies not sleeping much at night, but we're definitely getting a pretty good share of that for ourselves. So all him keeping us both busy is making it really difficult for me to make videos. But I'm trying to focus on. I'm going to keep trying to focus on videos, get you guys some more videos out there. I do think I've got some interesting ideas and just some practical experience that I can put on the web so you guys get kind of a reality check. You see me struggle through with my mock bug outs and things like that. Hopefully you guys can realize, hey, you know what, you need to go practice it just like I do. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.